We can date it back to the last ice age when our people were moving into this area.
Modern technology reveals these artifacts' native roots. Now, Seattle City Light is returning them to a local tribe.
It just looks like a stationary canvas. When I had that thought, it made me think of, well, who would I paint? And so I started a list.
This artist works outside the box, painting eye-catching images on aging infrastructure.
People cared about one another.
And that was a really powerful message to experience.
When the community works together for a common good, those in need will see a change. These stories and more next on CityStream. Hello, I'm Connie Thompson. Welcome to CityStream from Fisher Pavilion at the Seattle Center. Next month, hundreds of people in need of vision care can come here to receive free eye exams and prescription glasses. It's a return of the Seattle King County Health Clinic, canceled the past 2 years due to COVID. One change, only vision care will be provided this year. No medical or dental services. Much more on this special clinic just ahead. From eye care to artifacts, Seattle City Light has returned nearly 400 artifacts found at one of its work sites to the Upper Skagit tribe. It's a reconnection thousands of years in the making. Brian Callanan has our story from Marble Mount in the North Cascades.
A tour of the Upper Skagit River provides an impressive up-close look at how Seattle City Light generates hydroelectricity. But if you look more closely, it's a trip back in time.
We can date it back to the last ice age when our people were moving into this area.
Scott Schuyler, a cultural and natural resources policy representative for the Upper Skagit tribe, and Andrea Weiser, a senior archaeologist for Seattle City Light, are looking at clues from a historical mystery that surfaced in 2013 during a renovation of the Gorge Inn, an old City Light mess hall in New Halem.
Archaeological consultants were hired to go out and examine the ground where the building work was going to be done and see if any artifacts were in the ground.
Mixed in with some utensils from the 1920s era structure were nearly 400 artifacts and animal bones, indicating a Native American village was once here.
Our people lived and died at this site for literally 10,000 years.
City Light talked with the Upper Skagit, Soxweatl, and Swinomish tribes to try to confirm where these animal bones and tools came from.
Just speculating now, that may have been a point, that particular piece there.
Basketry or clothing that would help identify tribal affiliation more easily had long since eroded away to nothing in this soggy ground. It was only when scientists examined this sharpened stone point, likely once attached to a dart or spear, dating back between 4,000 and 9,000 years ago, that a breakthrough happened.
We had that particular artifact analyzed for protein residue, blood residue, and they did find that it was goat blood. And that was a great result because we already knew that the name New Halem is actually based off of a native language name, Duelab, which was the village that was located in that area.
That village's name, meaning goat snare, finally tied the origin of the artifacts to the Upper Skagit tribe, who hunted goats for meat and wool clothing. But that's just the start of the story.
This legislation transfers the ownership and curation to the Upper Skagit tribe, where...
In March, the city of Seattle authorized returning the artifacts to the Upper Skagit tribe. The city is paying to have them stored at this curation facility at the North Cascades National Park Ranger Station in Marble Mount.
It's the right thing to do. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
State law says the owner of the land where artifacts are found is the owner of the artifacts too. But after a decade of research, the city wanted to set the record straight.
To me, that's what's important about it. It's correcting an inequity in the ownership of the artifacts.
That correction means a chance for connection for the Upper Skagit tribe which plans to bring younger members of the tribe to Marble Mount to see their family history.
It's important that we lay a foundation to preserve, protect, enhance our culture where we can, ensure that they have the opportunities for learning and to partake in this culture that has extended for the last 10,000 years in the Skagit Valley. Disturbing of our ancestral sites is always bad, and we prefer not to have that occur, of course. But in this particular case, one of the great positives is the fact that we do have access to this.
Preserving the rich cultural history of the Upper Skagit River is something that local tribes and Seattle City Light will be working on together for many years to come. But they say they need your help too.
People get really fascinated by items that represent history, but just picking things up and taking them home is not the right thing to do.
It's also a violation of state law, but thankfully, this message is already hitting home as news of the New Halem discovery spreads. This stone fish club was returned to the tribe a few months ago.
And so people have been returning artifacts to us since the first story came out, so that's been a great positive thing.
These are sacred lands for the Upper Skagit people, central to their religious beliefs and origin stories. The tribe calls this an entry to the Valley of the Spirits. Spirits that Scott Schuyler says have to be pleased with a reunion that's long overdue.
It's a good day for the Upper Skagit people and our ancestors.
For now, only tribal members are permitted to view the artifacts. The Upper Skagit tribe says it hopes to build its own museum in the future to display these and other objects to the general public.
I just want to paint.
From centuries-old artifacts to spray-painted creations, how one artist is working outside the box as CityStream continues. Maybe you've seen them around town. Most are drab and dull, but some catch your eye and others can lift your mood. I'm talking about the ubiquitous signal boxes positioned near intersections. Some of these metal frames have gone from mundane to magnificent thanks to the spray painting skills of artist Desmond Hansen. Producer Pete Kassem takes a look.
When I was young, in the 90s and early 2000s, there was no exceptions for art being produced with spray paint. So now I get a lot of people coming up saying, wow, you're doing all that with spray paint? Whoa, Whereas before it might have been, call the cops on that guy, he's got a spray paint can in his hand. I'm Desmond Hansen. I'm an artist from West Seattle, and I paint murals. Covering large-scale areas with spray paint. I just want to paint. I really like painting portraits, aerosol art, painting art with spray paint, attempting photorealism. In 2018, I started painting signal box murals, and over the course of the past 4 years, painted about 65 of them. It actually came to me in a dream that I had painted a couple of them on California Avenue in West Seattle. It just looks like a stationary canvas, and that's why there's graffiti on them all the time. When I had that thought, it made me think of, well, who would I paint? And so I started a list. People who I think deserve a spotlight that kind of influenced me as a kid. This is Jay Moore. This is an old friend of mine who was a DJ and hosted a lot of hip-hop battles. The ones that I did here in the Central District, they were all chosen by the HCAAC. They commissioned me to do 8 boxes. I get my permits through the SDOT. The art that I do on these boxes tends to cut down on vandalism. A lot of the boxes that I painted are from grunge era rock and roll. Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell and Lane Staley, Kurt Cobain. Painted some others, Mark Hubbard, Bruce Lee, Randy Hansen, Prince, Macklemore. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix box is my favorite. I can say that confidently because it was the first one that I did.
Art makes the world go around. It's not graffiti, it's beautiful. He's talented.
Most of them are in West Seattle, 11 of them in the Central District, 4 in Queen Anne. There's some in Capitol Hill, and Sodo has a couple. But Jay Moore was a good guy. I painted quite a bit of them, enough now where they're getting some vandalism and some weathering. Now through spring and summer, I'm touching all of them up. Ultimately, what motivates me to paint is I want to leave a piece of me on the planet. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. To the city's beauty, or people being able to walk around and experience art.
Yeah, thank you, man. I like your vision, man.
You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You got a gifted. He's got a gift hand.
It feels good knowing that it's in most intersections. Maybe brighten up somebody's day. I hope it takes them away from any boredom and monotony that they're feeling in life at that time, you know? And hopefully, you know, whoever I painted a portrait of might take them into a thought process of who is this person and what do they do. And I've had people send me messages saying that they were listening to the radio and they were at an intersection and a song came on and they were all, you know, amazed by it.
That's incredible. Wow. You're so talented. It's so beautiful.
Every day I do something artistically to try to further my path in the art world.
Desmond Hansen takes great pride in his work. He regularly does needed maintenance, touching up many of the boxes he's painted, and he does most of it on his own dime. As we mentioned earlier, the Seattle King County Health Clinic returns in October after a 2-year absence. Only vision care will be offered, no medical or dental. Still, this free service will help many. The true scope of the clinic is revealed in an eye-opening documentary, Stronger Than Medicine. It shows the incredible power of community when people come together for a common good. Enrique Serna explains.
Here's the story of all these people and organizations coming together to help serve their community. So we wanted to capture that.
You walk in the door, you've got an abscessed tooth and you're experiencing pain and infection and it's affecting your whole life, and we can fix that for you today.
That's too good to be true. To get free dental, free vision, free medical, there's got to be a catch, and they're skeptical about it. Anybody is welcome to come in. You don't need ID, you don't need documentation of status.
I loved the idea of providing healthcare with no barriers. I loved the idea that there'd be an army of interpreters.
The title of this documentary, Stronger Than Medicine, reflects a common thread discovered during its production.
Stronger than the healthcare piece was the fact that the community was coming together, that people cared about one another.
And that was a really powerful message to experience. And beyond that, it was amazing to see, well, what are we capable of? Imagine if we applied that energy to other things.
At the end of the day, we're all people, and we're all here just taking care of each other.
People coming together with a common theme, a common desire to help.
All of the people who are working there are there to serve. They're there to do some good in some people's lives.
And that good is intended to help everyone in need, including those you might not suspect.
Who is in need and what does in need look like? It's not only people who are out of a job. It's not only people who are experiencing homelessness.
The majority of the people come do have some form of health care, but they can't afford to use it because the copay is too large. The out-of-pocket is unavailable.
From ethnicity to ethnicity and young and old, that was the same story. That was eye-opening and humbling to me.
One of the things my husband said when he came to volunteer was, wow, these people look just like me.
And as hundreds of people arrive in the middle of the night, they wait their turn. The stories they share reveal the troubling flaws in the system.
She needs glasses. Her glasses are broken. We don't have Medicaid or anything, so she's getting glasses.
I am self-employed. I have health insurance, but it's sort of the minimum mandated health insurance, and there's no dental on it.
I worked for 30 years. I have Medicare, but I can't afford glasses, or I have to decide, do I get my medicine or do I get my teeth fixed?
I'm here today for my vision too, also to check it out, you know.
Dental. I just take the service for dental.
For documentarian Tony Grobe, a sense of respect and kindness prevailed among volunteers.
You're surrounded by people who are setting a great example of respect, treating people with dignity, listening, giving people the time that they need to express themselves.
There might be some problems with the system, but at least here, there's not a problem with the people. The people all want to help. So I think that says a lot about our community.
No one exemplifies that compassion and helpful attitude more than retiree Frankie Manning.
All of these people are volunteering their time to make a difference, and they care. And so when people think that, you know, nobody cares, just look around. It's here. I am an old person. It gets me out of bed in the morning. And I feel so grateful because I know these people need this care and they can't get it no place else. So I feel like this is important work.
This documentary proves goodwill combined with the power of community can work wonders.
I'm volunteering at the clinic this year. I'm putting the camera down and I'm just going to roll up my sleeves and say, how can I help?
To see this special documentary, written and directed by Tony Grobe, go to the Seattle channel on YouTube and search for Stronger Than Medicine. Joining us now is Julia Colson, Project Director of the Seattle King County Health Clinic. Julia, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
You have got to be really happy or even relieved that the project is back, even though it's limited services.
Absolutely. Our last clinic was in February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So it's been 2.5 years that we haven't been able to operate and that people have gone without care. So we're delighted that we're able to come back, although it's limited to only vision care, eye exams and prescription eyeglasses. We're still dealing with the COVID pandemic, but we are just delighted to be able to bring the service back to the community.
So fill us in with the rest of the details. What services are being offered exactly, and how do we register?
So for patients, we're offering the clinic October 20th through the 23rd. That's a Thursday through Sunday. And they will be able to come down starting at 6 o'clock in the morning to Seattle Center to this location, Fisher Pavilion, where we'll be handing out free tickets for admission for that day. We'll continue to hand out those tickets as long as we have some remaining for that day. And then they will be escorted over to the place where we're actually holding the vision clinic to be able to get their free eye exams as well as prescription eyeglasses.
During this clinic for 4 days, how many people do you anticipate you'll be serving, and what volunteers are going to be working here?
Well, we hope to be able to serve over 1,000 patients in the 4 days, so about 250 people a day. We might even be able to do more, but in order to do that, we have to have a number of eye care professionals. We also have general support volunteers who help with things like patient registration and escorting and interpretation services. Right now, the general support volunteer registration is going really well. We still need a lot of eye care professionals, though. So if you know an eye care professional or you are an eye care professional, please help us to spread the word because the more we have, the more people we are going to be able to serve.
Right, and as we know, this really can't happen without those volunteers.
They are the backbone of the clinic.
Do you anticipate, Julia, that next year you might possibly be able to come back with all of the services that you normally have offered?
That is what we're working towards. There's a lot of variables that come into play, but we're hoping that in the spring of 2023 we're able to come back with all of the services.
Now, we ask you this question every time we get together, but can you share at least a story, an example of some of the lives that are touched and what happens? Because I know there are very, very powerful stories that happen during these clinics.
Well, vision care is one of the most under-resourced services for people in need in our community. And I remember vividly one year when there was a woman who came very early to pick up her eyeglasses. She just couldn't wait to get them. And after she picked them up and was fitted for her glasses by an optician, I saw her out on the grounds and she was reading some of the wayfinding signs, and I thought she was needing to figure out where to go. So I went up to her and I said, "Can I help you find what you're needing?" And she said, "No, I just haven't been able to read in so long. I'm just reading everything that I can." And that's the thing that we just don't always think about is how much vision affects everybody's life. If you can't see, you can't drive, you can't read. It's hard from education, it's hard from a work perspective, and it's debilitating for people's lives. And so vision is really a very important part of us being healthy and productive citizens in this community.
That's so much taken for granted until you don't have it. Well, thank you so much again for not only bringing the project together, but for being with us today. Julia Colson, Project Director, Seattle King County Health Clinic. Ahead on CityStream, for many homeless people, pets mean everything. One special program knows this and is doing something to help. When Seattle animal control officers roll up on scene, they don't always get a warm welcome. Many folks see them as enforcement agents only, but when these officers arrive with pet food, toys, and bedding, the greetings quickly change. Producer Chris Barnes has more on a special outreach program.
So the program for outreach is our Seattle Animal Shelter Foundation provided a grant to the shelter for us to go out and purchase supplies like dog jackets, toys, food, bedding, and shelter. We'll bring them out to RVs, tent encampments, tiny homes to try to bring supplies out to the pets and people that need them most. We have collars that we hand out. We've got some toys and other supplies that we have over here, some enrichment items. We fill these full of kibble, and the dogs can then roll them around and play, and the kibble falls out, keeps them entertained.
Hey, how's it going? It's Robert from the animal shelter. Did you need any dog food? We give out supplies from the animal shelter once every couple of weeks. Don't have a harness, but give you a collar, and at least that serves as a backup.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
All right, where would you like to leave this?
So the program was started by us recognizing a need out in the community and working with our foundation to go directly to individuals that needed that support.
So here's a bag of dog.
Okay. Our officers were out there seeing individuals in their RVs, in their tents that were lacking of food and supplies and toys and enrichment items, and just wanted to go out there and make sure that we had an impact out in that community. So the pet food comes from a donation from our foundation. So they will grant the shelter dollars for resources, and so then we will purchase that food to then give out to the community.
This is not kitten. Do you want some dry kitten? Yeah, I mean, generally people are very ecstatic to see us, especially since I think a lot of times when they see us as an enforcing role, they have a preconceived notion that we are there to enforce something or some sort of violation. You good? All right, thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the people that receive our services are very grateful, very accommodating. They spread the word to their other friends that are struggling out there, and so it's a great way for our officers to meet and engage with the community in a positive way.
That wraps up this episode of CityStream from Seattle Center. If you'd like to watch more outstanding Seattle Channel programs, visit our website, seattle.gov, and click on Feature Shows. I'm Connie Thompson. Thank you for watching.